Once upon a time in a quiet little town, there was a man named Dave, who was convinced he could solve any problem with duct tape. He called himself the Tape Wizard and swore he could fix anything with a roll of silver magic. One day, his neighbor Mrs. Jenkins came running to him, panicked. Her cat, Whiskers, had somehow climbed up a tree and was now stuck at the very top, meowing pitifully. Mrs. Jenkins was too old to climb the tree herself, and the fire department was busy with a pancake breakfast fundraiser. Dave grabbed his trusty roll of duct tape, gave Mrs. Jenkins a reassuring nod, and said, "Don't worry, ma'am. I've got this covered." Step 1. He started by duct taping 2 broomsticks together to make a makeshift super pole to try and poke the cat down. But the pole snapped in half, and the only thing that fell out of the tree was a clump of leaves. Step 2. Undeterred, he decided he'd make a ladder. He taped random objects from his garage, an old chair, a tire, a cooler, into what he proudly called the Ladder 3000. With one hand on the shaky creation, he began climbing. The contraption wobbled, and before he could even reach the first branch, it collapsed with a loud crash. At this point, a small crowd had gathered. Undaunted, Dave grabbed a megaphone and tried to negotiate with Whiskers. "Come on down, little buddy," he pleaded. "I'll give you all the tuna in the world." But Whiskers simply blinked, unimpressed, and continued meowing. Dave realized it was time for his final idea, the tape cape. He wrapped himself in duct tape from head to toe, sticking one end of the tape to the tree trunk and the other to his homemade cape. He was sure he'd just float up and rescue the cat superhero style. With one mighty leap, he launched himself straight into the tree, where he stuck like a fly on a windshield. There he dangled, suspended, while Whiskers finally decided he'd had enough and scrambled down on his own, effortlessly. As the crowd applauded the cat's descent, Dave hung there in his sticky tape cocoon, waving at the crowd below and shouting, "Another successful rescue by the Tape Wizard." Mrs. Jenkins gently patted his shoulder as the crowd dispersed, and she muttered, "Thank you, Dave. I think you're the one who might need rescuing now."